If it's wrong to push a button which sends people to hell-like suffering, then it's wrong to not push a button which ends hell-like suffering. Inaction is a crime. Everyone knows that you are a piece of shit if you don't help someone that desperately needs it, when it is possible for you to help. So then your inaction is unacceptable. Everyone should fight for the end of all suffering, because we do have a way. Otherwise, you are uninformed, lazy, or selfish. There is no excuse ever to not help those suffering when you do have the ability to help. That is why you should support cosmic extinction and end the cycle of hell-like suffering and lives which are worse than death. These horrors are unacceptable and are far more common than people like to think. 99% of wildlife dies painfully during childhood, and we cannot stand by and let this continue to happen, which it will. It is unacceptable for life to continue this way, and it is unacceptable for any life to be born into hell-like suffering, when there's an alternative, but we can never fully lower the risk of extreme suffering and lives worse than death to zero. Just as it would be wrong to needlessly put someone in a dangerous situation, it is wrong for us to not put an end to dangerous situations for as much life as possible. So it is our duty to stop suffering at its source by creating the most permanent, thorough, and vast extinction possible, so that suffering will never again arise in the universe if possible. Think of the victims who would have been better off not being born. Even one is unacceptable. So, how will you prevent the extreme suffering of life while you try to cure every single disease, prevent every accident and predation and starvation, etc.? How many will have to suffer needlessly so that future generations can unfairly enjoy the benefits of their suffering? Reduction of animal population is already possible, so we can already prevent a lot of the suffering that we cannot prevent in any other way, such as diseases, accidents, predation, natural disasters. The list of unavoidable forms of extreme suffering is endless. And victims will be born into this hell for billions of years more, unless we start acting now to secure guaranteed peace and safety from extreme suffering for all life and potential victims of life. The obsession with life continuing is unhealthy, pointless, selfish, and irresponsible. We shouldn't accept a system where innocent victims will always be at some risk of extreme suffering. To continue life as usual without acting to end the suffering of victims is to stand by and allow their suffering to happen for our own benefit. That would be horrifically immoral. Scientifically, we've already made several species extinct without even trying. Earth is easy. It's beyond Earth that we as humanity must research permanent extinction for, to absolute exhaustion, as there may be much more life suffering out there, now or in the future, which we can help. The how is to be decided and will be naturally done in the best way possible. First, we must grow the movement big enough with activism, which is already underway, to make it possible to search and implement the most vast, thorough, and permanent extinction possible. Not necessarily or even likely to be all in one go. We must think of the victims that suffer horrifically that don't have to go through such horrors. If you don't think their suffering is extreme enough to fight for ending, then you are being willfully ignorant. Simply don't care or still don't understand.